Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special episode of CEO Unplugged Walk the Talk. So, today we have Mr. Santosh Kanekar, the CEO of Atria Education. We are honored to have you here, sir. From the halls of IIM Calcutta to leading the charge at Atria Education, the journey that sir has is nothing short of legendary. So, before we could start with the leadership questions, sir, let us start it on a lighter note. Like, if you had one thing to be delegated to the AI, so what would it be every day?
If there's one thing I could delegate to AI, that would be my sleep, so that so that I could use the sleeping hours which the AI is doing to do something else. But I mean, that was just kidding. Everybody should take their sleep very, very seriously. The thing about AI as of now is it is still following instructions. So this answer is relatively easier right now, depending upon what is it that is occupying your time most right now. Okay. But within 5 to 6 months, or if not earlier, it can start taking decisions on your behalf. And that's where I think it will become very, very exciting. And so, to answer your question, what I would love to do is to transfer my decision making framework to AI so that I can then reserve my time to really taking those decisions which really matter. So that's how I'd say.
Your journey from an early career to the C-suite level is inspiring. So, what were the defining moments that helped you come to this level, sir?
A large portion of it is luck. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when I was in IMCAL, I remember there was, I mean, for every course, we had to do studies and researches and primary research. So, which means you couldn't go to research which was already done. So, one of the research which not only my wingmate, but my next roommate was doing on CEOs. And so his first question in the question, his first question in the questionnaire was, um, knowing that you want to become a CEO, something question. And so he was filling up that questionnaire with me, and he asked that question, and I said, I don't want to be a CEO. So he said, what are you doing in MBA if if you don't want to become a CEO? So that's why I'm saying a large portion of it was luck, because not that I didn't want to become a CEO, but those milestones were not the most important for me. So, because I started working at a very young age, um, what was more important to me was this concept of excellence. And I know now it's a much bandied around word, but in those days it was, I used to really think about this, and I still do, like, what is excellence in this? So, and once I get behind that, then I'm fairly obsessive about it. So, which I think led me to all these things, because wherever I landed in a leadership role, that was because I was out obsessing the next guy to me. And that's something which I always say to all the young people, that the nature of youth is to be obsessed. I mean, that's what separates a young guy from an old guy, so to speak, right? I mean, the old guy feels he's got the answers to everything and he's chilling out, so to speak. But the young guy, the nature of being young is that you're obsessed with something. So choose the right obsessions, is how I would put it. And the other thing I would say is I got here because of excellent people who were mentors. Sometimes experience itself was a mentor. A lot of times people were mentors without their intending to be. So I learned a lot from bad bosses. The least I learned was I don't want to be like this. And that's saying a lot, because a lot of times we accumulate in life what you want to be, what you want to have. I believe that one of the most important things one can do is to be clear of what you don't want to be. And that helped me with all these bad bosses. And then there were, of course, bosses who really invested in growing me as a person. So I think those combination of things.
Okay. So, like you might have said, you have most of the portion, but then when I was going through your profile, I could see a lot of stuff there. So I think it's definitely your hard work. It speaks there. So moving on, like right now, AI is the buzz. Like AI is making noise left and right, and you have been a strong voice for that as well in
100%.
education and business. So AI coming to leadership, what specific AI could help in making a young professional to go towards leadership role?
So, so this is one of my strongly held beliefs, and there's a lot of. Before I get to that, I want to quickly say about what you said about hard work. Hard work is given, and somebody has said it very nicely. They said how hard work increases the surface area of luck, and that I believe is absolutely true. So because when luck comes your way, if you have not done your hard work, you're going to get only that much of it. So that's on that. Um, AI leadership. This is my belief and a very strongly held belief that the quality of your life is the quality of choices you have made in life. Whatever you are here right now is a result of the choices that you made. Okay. And good choices come from bad choices. You cannot know something is good unless you have experienced something is bad. That's the nature of the world, right? So, which means that two things need to happen. One, you need to make a lot of choices before you get better at making good choices. And two is you need to be aware of your choice making because otherwise it's just a random flip of coin, right? So, and this is both a opportunity as well as a threat for humankind. Is your quality of your life depends upon the quality of choices you made, the decisions you made. But we have a black box and we never look into that black box. And as years go by, you become so confident of this black box, depending upon the successes that you are seeing, that you never ask yourself, how did I come to this point? Like, what choices did I make to come to this point? Uh, and very soon you have to get into forward decision making in the sense we might still be good at looking at back and saying, oh, I took that decision, so I'm here. But you have to get into the habit of saying, now in this day, this month, these are the choices I'll make, and this is how I'll make these choices. I'm giving this detail to explain this point that most of us, even after I'm saying this, most of us are not going to do this because our brain is wired to think in shortcuts. So a lot of people who were listening to me in the past 70 odd seconds must have already tuned out because we quickly jump. Yeah, I got what he's saying. Right? That is the exact antithesis of what we need to do now because AI is getting better and better at decision making, right? Because you're feeding them hundreds of models, books, biographies. I mean, when was the last time you read a biography, right? I mean, and you can throw back that question to me and say, when was the last time you read a biography? And that was probably 30 years back. But as training sets, you're putting the lives of the Gandhi as well as the Hitler and the Elon Musks and Benjamin Franklin and a Leonardo da Vinci, and you're putting everybody's life as a data set to AI. I'll give you a small example and then we move to your question. So I hope all of you have heard about this amazing AI device called Notebook LM. Okay, so Google AI product. So what it does is it allows you to put a lot of sources in 50 sources right now, and doesn't matter what the length of that source is. So right now it's the best resource you have and it's free. So you put in 50 sources, and then you can ask it questions. So for example, let's say you got 50. Name me a person whose video you see often, some living or dead human being. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So suppose if you got 50 interviews of Elon Musk and his biography, and you put that into Notebook LM. And then for every decision that you have to take, you ask this question, what would Elon Musk do in this situation? Right? So the AI has got actual interviews with Elon Musk. and a biography. And now you're asking this question that what would Elon Musk do in this thing? Just tell me how good that decision would be. Phenomenal, right? Yeah. Now, the point is, right now, how many people do you know who are doing these things? Not many, right? I mean, none of in your circle, not even in my circle. I mean, I am doing it as a different matter, but not many people are doing it. But the AI is getting trained on that. So very soon, it's got access to the best decision making. Yeah. And so I'll end by saying to your question, unless we improve consciously our decision making, AI will start making decisions for us. And we will not even know that we are getting manipulated. Yes. Because they'll be so good at this that we'll not come to know. Yesterday's news is that the latest version of OpenAI 4.5, but some version of it has touched 73% on the Turing test, which means that 73 out of 100 times people believe that it was a human. Oh. And not a machine. And that score was somewhere around 25, 26, 6 months back. Which means in another 6 months' time or another year at max, you will be as close to 100%. Right? So I look at it as an opportunity. I feel it is brilliant. I love these times. I wish I was born in these times.
Yeah. AI is the future. I mean, it's already in action. AI.
Yeah, I mean, AI is like fire. Very soon it will be not Pushpa fire, but AI is going to be everywhere. Just like we use apps on the mobile, AI is going to be like that.
Yeah. So, no leader's path would be short of like few stumbles. So, could you share us one setback and how you bounced back?
I bounced back because of luck again. I've had many setbacks, so I don't want to also romanticize that in the sense that um, what we call as setbacks are two things. One is it's not a bug; it's the feature of life. Like life is designed for you to have obstacles and setbacks. It's not the other way around that we have a straight road and somehow these setbacks are like things you have to somehow cross, right? And the reason for that is, I mean, I'll give you a very simple example and then I'll answer your question. We all of us, the entire humanity was a baby at one point of time. Yeah. Then it learned to flip over and start crawling, right? And from crawling, somehow it made the leap of standing and then walking and then running, right? And how many times does a baby fall down when it is trying to stand up, right? Or how many times does it fall down when it is trying to walk? Like innumerable times, right? And we can't communicate to the baby, but if you ask the baby, is this a setback? It's not going to say that, right? It's like, I'm just trying to walk because my instinct is to walk, right? Yeah. So that's what I mean by what we call as setbacks are by the very nature are supposed to help you grow. If you find a person who says he's not had a setback, then either he's lying or he's not lived a life. Okay, is the way I would put it. But if I have to come back to what was my uh, biggest setback, in the sense that uh, when it was something which I had to really go against what everybody was telling me. Uh, I had a gastrointestinal condition, and the doctor said you got a month to live. So you got to do surgery, otherwise it's fatal and you will die in a month's time. And I always say this in my house that unless I drop unconscious, don't take me inside a hospital. So I was like, no way I am going under the knife or under. I mean, this just shows how foolish my generation is. But whatever. So I said, I'm not going to do surgery. So I kept asking different doctors I was meeting that what needs to happen for the surgery not to happen, and they were like, no way, this is the only option. Till I met this guy who was in Vashi, which is in the outskirts of Bombay. Very good. He said, there's only one option, but you're not going to do it. And this, I said, what? He says, you got to do a complete lifestyle change, but you can never do it. And, in North, they say Jats are like the people whom, like, once they make up their mind, you can't move them. Yeah. So I say in India, there are Jats and then there are Ghats. The Ghats is like where I come from, right? So the fact that he said to me, "You can't do it," was like, "अब तो मैं करूँगा ये," you know. So वो अड़ गए तो अड़ गए. So, but the reason why I'm saying that is because, and the reason why I gave you a personal example is, and it can very well apply to a professional thing also, is it's the most difficult thing. I mean, this quote is apparently ascribed to Buddha. I'm sure he never said it. He said that the biggest battle is internal. So the whole world is telling you to do one thing. You are changing a lifestyle which you are so wedded to, and it's giving you all the conveniences and whatever. And then to move out of that and say, I'm going to do something which is not this, was the toughest thing, because there the tough thing is living it every day. And then I also took up this challenge at the time. So the only sports kind of thing I played was, I mean, in schools or whatever, was sprinting. Like I never went beyond sprinting. So I took up this thing that I'm going to run a marathon. So in that lifestyle change, I took all the extreme things that one could think about, you know. So that I would say was the biggest, because every day I had to convince myself that I have to do this. When my body, mind was just not willing to do it. It was like just यार surgery कर लो बात खत्म कर लो. But I was like नहीं ये करना है इसको करना है इसको करना है. So, because all the professional setbacks, it's very difficult to dissociate the enormous work which the team does around you. Yes, sir. Visible as well as invisible, who, you know. So I don't want to give a professional example, because I'm sure whatever setbacks I managed to get over in professional life was the result of an amazing team I work with. Great.
So your book, Stop, Reset, and Start. So it says about reinventing oneself. So was there any reset moment, uh, and then you bounce back again?
uh, so bounce back to pata nahi, because my life has always been about taking tangents and then following that, you know. So but I'll tell you how this thing started, and then probably that's the best example of it. So कुछ अपना करना है, कीड़ा तो I always had. So right in the college days, me and three of my friends, to those days there used to be something called as SIDB, which means State Industrial Development Board of India. You know, अभी भी है, पर तब भी काम नहीं करते थे, अभी नहीं. So we went there with a plastics processing plant proposal. This was in 1980s. So obviously they threw us out, and हमें उतना ये नहीं था कि like you keep going and knocking on government doors, and I'm happy we didn't do that. But I'm giving that example to say कि कीड़ा तो पहले से ही था. Now, in 2010, after having a successful 17 years of, actually more, but 17 post MBA, a very successful corporate leadership. I was a director at the age of 30. I was I was a I was in the global brand team for Johnny Walker. So all of those things. I mean, whatever professionally one could say successful, I was there on. So Times in those days used to have a marketing supplement called brand equity. अभी भी आता है, but it's not a supplement, it's part of the main page. But in those days there was a glossy brand equity supplement which used to come. So I have been profiled and interviewed many times in brand equity. Okay, and none of which was paid. वो सब हीरा बाद में शुरू हो गया. So all of the professional markers I was doing very well. And then 2010 I just chucked it and I said I'm going to be, this is it. I'm going to be on my own, and this is it or never. And they say in marketing, they say post purchase dissonance. तो डिसीजन लेने के बाद आई वाज, यार अभी कूद तो गए, बट मतलब the only thing I know is how to work in a corporate, and now I'm saying I'm going to be on my own. Will I be successful or not? And one of the persons who used to report to me, who now for the past 7 or 8 years, he's are you aware of this company called Hasbro? They are one of the largest toy companies in the world. They are also behind this amazing movie series called Transformers. And so there are many of the action figurines became
Yeah.
G.I. Joe, Transformers. These are all action figurines which became movie So Hasbro is that company behind that. He's the Asia Pacific head. So he used to report to me in Diageo. And he said to my boss when I was serving my notice period, he said that the one person I'm most confident of making the switch is me. So my boss said, and this was a private conversation. And he said, why? So he said, because this man can reset his life anytime. And so my boss said, have you told him this? So he said, no. No, he said, you should tell him. So this whole story was retold to me in when this his name is Bhavesh. So he told me this story, Bhavesh Somaya, and then that stuck with me, that word reset, because it came at the right moment. And that's why I mentioned luck, because see, उस time में when I was going through that so-called post-purchase dissonance, I had not purchased anything, but whatever, cognitive dissonance. He came at the right time to tell me this, and I was like, oh, I never saw myself like this. That I don't know whether you guys have been taught this Johari window concept, So it was like a ideal Johari window moment for me. But that word reset stuck with me. And then when I was writing my book, uh, hmm, I mean, this is a common word, right? Stop, reset, start. So I was like, I was toying with the word reset. I said, oh, stop, reset, start. So I put it in Amazon, and there is no book title like that. And the amazing thing is, even now, there is no book title, Stop, Reset, Start. अरे तो बात बनती है तो अपनी कहानी है. So, of course, the book was written from the perspective of, uh, and I'll end here. The book was written from this perspective that if you got to make a change, whether it is personal or professional, of course, the book is written for small businesses. You got to stop doing what you're doing. You got to reset what you're doing, and you got to start new behaviors. So yeah, that's
a great message right there, sir. So if there is one message or input insight you want to give to the MBA students who are aspiring to be leaders in the corporate world or in their life, so what would it be, sir?
So this I have been asked before, so it's a pat reply. Is corporate leadership starts with personal leadership, and the vice versa is, as in the opposite of it, is also true. If you're not if you're not demonstrated leadership in your personal life, you're not going to be. You may still be put in the position of corporate leadership, but you won't succeed at all. You'll make a mess. So right now, uh, start with the concept of personal leadership. If you look at you and your resources, whatever you have, one is your physical resources, your know-how, your everything, and you ask yourself, if I am like a company, how do I lead this company? How do I marshal all the resources to the desired outcome? What is my personal strategy? Now, nowadays, people say I have a brand strategy, with a personal brand strategy and all that. But what is my personal leadership strategy? Like, what are the choices? Because strategy finally is all about choices. Strategy, in very simple term, is you looked at a set of choices and you said, I'm going to go behind this, right? So, what is it that is for me? And in today's times, it's far, far more relevant. And I become unpopular by saying all of these things, but the jobs are all going to vanish. Okay. I have no doubt in my mind. Okay. Whatever can be done at the lower level, middle level, and eventually even at the top level will be all done far more effectively by AI, which means the first step has to be personal leadership. So that's what I'm doing.
That's a great insight for us. I think we will take this with us today. And we have talked about AI, leadership, luck, and personal leadership. So to put it in a nutshell, like the last question, like to for our listeners to take away. So anything from your answer.
So this is not an original thought. Uh, there's a lady who was Facebook employee number 3 or number 4, like the first set of people which Mark Zuckerberg assembled around himself. And so I saw her podcast very recently, last year actually. And so it's something like this question that you asked me, the interviewer asked her about Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. We have heard so much about Facebook as a culture, operations, product management. Beautiful interview, by the way. Tell us something about Zuckerberg which nobody else knows. And she said this. She says, There are know-it-alls, and Mark is a learn-it-all. And that thing really stuck with me, that, and she's given some very, very amazing examples of it. And I reflected back on my own life and I said, every time I have been in that mode of whatever is in front of you, just learn everything about it, irrespective of what is the outcome of it. It has worked out very well for me. But this is really Zak's story, not about me. So the message I would give is forget about know-it-alls, become a learn-it-all. You will have a huge advantage over everybody else.
Thank you, sir. So, like as you said, we are going to learn it all, whatever is in front of us. So, great talking to you, sir. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. God bless. Thank you.